You're watching America This Morning, America's #1 early morning news.
Good morning. I'm Marcy Gonzalez in for Diana Perez.
And I'm John Muller. The latest deadly winter storm is on the move right now. Let's take a look at the radar. This system is huge, stretching from the deep south there up the Atlantic, mid-Atlantic states and into New England.
Millions of people are affected, schools closed, flights delayed, and for many it is truly the winter of our discontent.
We have live team coverage right now. AccuWeather's Mark Mancuso standing by with the storm's track.
But we begin with Tamon Bradley live in a very snowy Washington, D.C. Good morning, Tamon.
Marcy and John, good morning. The storm arrived here in the Northeast overnight. Here in Washington, D.C., we've been receiving about an inch or two every single hour of snow. This is a part of the country used to these conditions, but a lot of people today are just going to stay home. This morning, a mammoth winter storm is ravaging the East Coast. 100 million Americans are waking up to snow, ice, and freezing rain. The storm downed trees and knocked out power to hundreds of thousands. In Virginia, the National Guard is on standby. Salt trucks and plows are out in heavy force.
We can handle it. I mean, snow's always a problem, but that's what we're here for.
The storm socked the South, leaving behind
Winter storm Pax is affecting millions with extremely dangerous conditions. Let's go now to our winter expert desk for the latest information.
So going forward, the heaviest of snow is going to be centered on the 81 corridor in western parts of North Carolina and western parts of Virginia as well, and then right up into the Northeast. And that is where the forecast gets very tricky. So here we are looking at Washington, D.C. Snow comes in late tonight, picks up in intensity in the morning hours, and then as that warm air starts to intrude, we begin to see a mixture of rain and snow, more so on the southeast side of the metro area, less so on the northwest side of the metro area. So many parts of northern Maryland and northern Virginia will remain as snow, and that's going to add to those totals. We're talking about a foot to a foot and a half there in northern parts of Virginia. But here around the Chesapeake Bay, not nearly as much because we will see that change over to rain. Nonetheless, a very healthy snowstorm for the D.C. metro, and that in fact continues up into southeast PA, southeastern parts of New York, and much of New England. But just as we are seeing in the D.C. metro, it's going to be a tricky forecast right along 95. So this is the timing of all of that. Here's the snow developing 8 o'clock this evening, starting to come up into D.C. Notice the rain-snow line as that warm air is intruding around the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay. Snow continues in D.C. into tomorrow morning, but already rain has started to make some progress across the Delmarva and into southern Jersey. Snow also reaching New York by tomorrow morning, and then we begin to see that rain creeping in across Long Island and southeastern parts of New England. Snow still going on here north and west of 95, and then on the back side of the system we get one more burst of snow, and that's going to be a pretty good one, we think, especially for interior parts of the Northeast. So with all that in mind, that's our forecast for New York City and the heaviest amounts to the north and to the west.
We've got the latest updates on winter storm packs on the Weather Channel, weather.com, and your mobile devices. I'm Matt Sampson, the Weather Channel.
So we get to tomorrow morning, and places like Marshfield, Hyannis, and Nantucket all could be a little over freezing. Doesn't mean it can't snow early on, but it would be a very wet snow, not going to stick as readily here as it would, of course, in the colder spots interior. But Boston is still cold enough for the start of the storm. We get to around lunchtime, and Boston's above 32, so it's either going to be raining, mix, or heavy wet snow, or a mix of all three at that time. And then it turns milder during the course of the afternoon. But you don't have to go that far north and west where that's not the case. And then as we get to later tomorrow night, it's still fairly mild in Boston. And that's key because there could be a backlash of snow coming very late tomorrow night. Now let's kind of run through this. Here's the storm. You can see the moisture is coming right on up the coast, and it's not that far away. So once again, with the timeline, it looks like the onset for the first flakes in Connecticut, Rhode Island, maybe even the Cape, could be around 5 o'clock. Steady snow reaching the Pike by 7 o'clock. And then by 9 o'clock, all of us are involved, and now the darker colors are coming in, and that means the heavier snow. But notice the rain-snow line right near the coastline and southeastern Massachusetts. In the end, I think I-95 is going to be a big divider. You go south and east of there, the amounts will fall off dramatically. You go north and west of there, they might increase dramatically. And notice how Boston's going to flirt with the rain-snow line right into the early afternoon. For the evening commute, though, it looks like heavier rain takes over in Boston, but still a mixer snow not that far north and west. Then we'll have a lull for a good part of tomorrow night. And then another burst of snow comes in late tomorrow night to about dawn on Friday. Most of it is inland, but Boston may get a little piece of it right at sunrise, and then we clear after that. Now, in terms of snowfall accumulations, I'm going to show you that in a moment. Here's the track of the storm. When you take the storm close to the coast, you usually make the coast turn over to rain, and that's what I think happens here. If the storm was farther out, it could be all snow in Boston. It's not the case. One of our computer models, look at Worcester, look at Boston, look at the Cape. That's the idea. Here's another computer model, similar idea. So you get the thinking. It's kind of matching what we're showing for our projected totals. And here you see the big amounts, especially when you get to the Worcester Hills north and west, but hardly any down on the Cape. Maybe a quick inch and then it's washed away. 1 to 3 about Plymouth to New Bedford. And then you get up into this 3 to 6 area, perhaps around Foxborough, as well as Stoughton. Boston, you could have 3 or 4 in Cambridge and 1 or 2 or 3 at Logan. It's that big a difference in a short distance. Then you quickly run into 6 inches between 128 and 495, 6 to 12 for Worcester County, except the hilly terrain, Monadnocks, Berkshires, all are going to get, it seems, over a foot of snow. Now here's the next 7 days, as you can clearly see it, and I want to show you that we clear Friday afternoon, but I do have to point out Saturday, because it does appear that there's another storm. Not nearly as big, not nearly as much moisture, but 1 to 3 inches of snow could affect Boston south during Saturday. Then Sunday is going to be very cold. Monday is chilly. Monday night or Tuesday we may get a little rain, and then it looks like it turns milder there.